Archer, at Todd Archer on Twitter and covering the team for ESPN. Todd, we're grateful for your time, man. Appreciate you letting us know you had to mix it up a little bit and still being willing to jump on with us. So thank you for that. And how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. No worries. Thanks for taking me a little bit early.
Yeah, of course, man. All right, we got to talk about this game, and we got to start with a guy that we are familiar with, and now you and Cowboys fans are as well, Javonte Williams. What's led to his success down there in Dallas? Because, Todd, he didn't have that here in Denver.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody's talking about, well, he's healthy now. Wasn't that knee injury like 3 years ago?
Right.
I mean, I'll give you, okay, it's always the second year after the ACL tears when guys come back. I just think he found a home. He found a fit. He found a scheme that works maybe better for him, and certainly the Cowboys are blocking it up well for him, but he's running with power. He can break the long one. He's done that a couple of times here at the end of the first half of a couple of games to set up scoring drives. He's getting in the end zone. I'm going to say something that's going to sound strange, but he's not Zeke Elliott at Zeke's prime, but how he is playing or the impact or the effect that he's having on the Cowboys offense is Ezekiel Elliott-like.
Wow.
Right.
Because they can run the ball. And that's not something that they've done a great job of here, certainly last year and really the last couple of years.
Well, Todd, they can run the ball, and we'll get to CeeDee and George in a little bit, but I got to talk about Jake Ferguson. What? Like, seriously? He's having a historic beginning to the season for a tight end, already over in career high for touchdowns on a season. It's week 8. How did this version of Jake Ferguson come to fruition this season?
It was a couple of years ago. It was trending in this direction, right? He had 71 catches, like 5 touchdowns, and was add to the Pro Bowl. And then last year, hurt in the opener, had a knee injury that really, I mean, it was good enough to play on for the entire season, but not fully healthy. Then he had a concussion, and then Dak doesn't play the last 8 games or so of the season, so that limits his effectiveness as well. But yeah, he and Dak have a really strong relationship. It's Romo and Witten-esque. To a degree of them knowing where each other's going to be. The only thing that I want to see more of, and it's hard to knock a guy with 51 catches and 6 touchdowns through 7 games, is averaging 6.5 yards a catch. Now, everybody here in Dallas got on Witten towards the end of his career when he was averaging 9 yards a catch. And they have to find a way to – he's really been the ultimate security blanket, but it's been like, obviously 6.5 yards a catch. They have to find a way to get him to make some more plays down the seams to maybe draw some attention away from their receivers. But it's hard to argue with what the Cowboys are doing offensively, that maybe 6.5 yards per catch doesn't much matter, because they can kind of do and have done most of the season whatever they wanted in the passing game.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and the Broncos struggle covering those big tight ends. You know what else the Broncos struggle with, Todd, is moving the ball downfield, and Bo Nix has missed a couple of those big throws that people have, held his feet to the fire.
Everything will be all right this weekend. Don't worry about it.
That's what I was going to ask you. So Trayvon Diggs, Wilson, is it looking like the Cowboys are going to be without 2 starters in the secondary?
Yeah, I don't think you'll see either guy this week. We'll know more later on today after practice. Diggs is still in the protocol. I don't know how a guy gets out of the protocol on Friday and plays on Sunday. Wilson's got a shoulder deal that might need a week of rest. But even if those guys played, it wasn't like they were lighting the world on fire. They were part of a defense that's allowing, 30 points a game and 400 yards a game. So, you're better theoretically with those guys, but I don't know how much a difference makes. And look, last week was much better against Washington. And a lot of people will say, well, they didn't have their 3 wideouts and their quarterback went out in the third quarter. I get all that, but it was stylistically that the Cowboys kind of changed who they were. More man coverage, I think it was 60% of the time, after being 82% of the time in zone the first 6 weeks, bringing some more pressure. So they have to manufacture their defense, and we'll see if Matt Eberflus continues that or if that was just a 1-week thing. Because the worst thing that happens for the Cowboys is, teams kind of hold the ball and then they score a touchdown. If you're going to go down swinging. If they score big on you, cool. You got the best thing is the ball's back in your offense's hands. So They have to win games against good teams, especially by outscoring them, not really winning these 17-10 type games.
Todd, now I have to warn you, we are known as the Bo Show, so we appreciate Broncos quarterback Bo Nix. Not homers by any means, but still, like, we appreciate this young man's game, some struggles, some talking points, etc. I always like to check in with the national perspective. A national perspective on Bo Nix. Your thoughts on Bo Nix, and do the Broncos have their franchise quarterback here?
I go to back to Dak Prescott, right? 4th round pick. No one really expected anything from him. Coming in, lit the world on fire his rookie year, and kind of took a step back in 2017, including a loss at Denver in week 2. It's a little, and maybe Jaden Daniels is taking a little bit of a step back here in his second year after what we've seen so far with the Commanders. But I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say I've broken down every single play he's had and they can talk authoritatively about his season, but certainly there's enough there to work with to think that he can be a franchise guy eventually. And you look at Peyton's history on what he had with Drew Brees and all those years, and I mean, it might be this is kind of what happens. Like, guys come on the scene, they set up a high bar, and then they don't immediately eclipse that bar, so people raise some questions. But the quarterback's most important job is to win games, and your team's 5-2. I wouldn't be in any sort of panic over what he has or hasn't done, and maybe scoring 33 points in the fourth quarter is just what you need to kind of kickstart everything. And my family is in the Bo Nix fan club as well. As my wife works for the National Football Foundation. Now I can't think of it. What was the trophy that he won? The Maxwell? No. What was the Scholar Athlete Award? My wife's going to kill me for this one. He won the Scholar Athlete Award.
We won't tell her.
So she was a big fan of his when he accepted that award and a couple years ago when he was at Oregon.
Awesome stuff. All right, before we ask you who's going to win the game, will this be the last Cowboys game of the 25-26 season where they don't have Max Crosby on the squad? How real were those rumors?
Yeah, that would surprise me. It seems like everybody's gone out of their way to say that isn't happening, so maybe it is because everybody's denying it. Jerry said they weren't trading Michael Parsons, and they ended up trading him. I think the Cowboys will do something by the trade deadline. I don't know if it would be a deal like that for Max Crosby, for a Trey Hendrickson, pick a pass rusher. I think if the Cowboys were to make a deal right now, I think they might lean towards a linebacker in some respects to see if that can help what they have. But I don't see Max Crosby coming here. Although one thing I've learned in 20 whatever years of covering this team with Jerry Jones is you never say never about anything, because in 2018 we didn't see the Amari Cooper trade coming, and that deal came and changed that season for the Cowboys, and they win the division and go to the second round of the playoffs. Maybe he pulls another rabbit out of his hat and does something like that, but as of right now, that would surprise me.
All
nice.
right.
By the way, Todd, we got your back. It's the William V. Campbell Trophy.
There it is.
Campbell Trophy.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We were just kind of hoping that they'd play the Cowboys, then Max Crosby would be off the Raiders by the time the Broncos got there. But wishful thinking on our part, Todd. Last one, quickly. Who do you think wins the game Sunday?
I don't think the Cowboys have won in Denver since Troy Aikman was the quarterback. I know that's not very many games. I don't see the Cowboys winning this one out there either. Sean Payton likes to beat the Cowboys. He's got a pretty good history against them, and he can still stick it to Jerry for never hiring him as the head coach, even though we all thought at some point that was going to happen.
All right, there he is, Todd Archer, giving us a Cowboys perspective. Great stuff. Thank you, Todd. Safe travels, and we'll link up soon. All right, there he goes, Todd Archer. Follow him on Twitter at Todd Archer. Let's react to a couple things he had to say there, Cease.